Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
There's concern for the safety of women in Northern Ireland who are choosing to terminate their pregnancies illegally using pills bought online because it's much cheaper than travelling abroad for the procedure. The British Pregnancy Advisory Service is launching a free telephone helpline because they're worried women may not seek medical help if they suffer complications. It is illegal to have an abortion in Northern Ireland in most cases, apart from when the mother's life or long-term health is put at risk. It puts Northern Ireland at odds with the rest of the UK, where abortions have been legal under certain conditions since 1967. Well, we can talk now to Goretti Horgana, who's a pro-choice campaigner, Maggie, who joins us on the phone and has asked to remain anonymous, a young Northern Irish woman who broke the law by taking medically tested abortion pills that she bought online. And we're also joined by Mara Clark, director of the Abortion Support Network that helps young Irish women who are seeking an abortion. Thank you very much for joining us. Maggie, first of all, you're talking to us anonymously. Tell us why you decided to take an abortion pill.
When I was 22, which was 4 years ago, between my third and fourth year at university, I discovered I was pregnant. And all I had to live on was my student loan. And the summer payment of student loan, it isn't that great. And I knew I wanted an abortion, and the only way I could afford that was to order pills off the internet.
Living in a country where abortion is illegal in those circumstances, how much did you think about the decision that you took?
I think I thought about the illegality of it more after I'd done it, like in ordering the pills and going through the medical consultation online, waiting for the pills to arrive. My only real worry was I don't want to be pregnant anymore. It wasn't, oh, I could face prison for this. So it's more something I think about now, in that will someone come for me? Will I wake up one day with the police at my door? Like we've seen women in Northern Ireland be prosecuted for this, and it's kind of like, at the moment I'm like, am I next? But at the time I just didn't want to be pregnant, and that was the only thing that I thought about.
How much did you weigh up the decision to terminate the pregnancy? I'm just wondering how much the background in Northern Ireland and the fact that terminating the pregnancy is not something that you were able to do openly, how much that weighed on your decision making?
In a lot of ways I was lucky because I did tell everyone around me. Like my friends knew, my family knew. It wasn't this big secret, and you find that when you do tell people, they'll go, oh, I know someone that had an abortion too. So on the surface it seems like this giant secret, but when you scratch that slightly, everyone knows someone that's had an abortion.
There are concerns obviously about people buying the pills online. It is illegal to buy them online, as we mentioned, but also concerns about what you may be getting. Did you have any issues once you took the pill?
No, not at all. And I think that currently there are two organisations that provide pills, both that are reputable. Like, because I was in consultation with a doctor, they make you go through your medical history. They ask you medical questions before you get them. When I got them, they arrived with a prescription signed by a doctor that detailed exactly what they were. So, and the kind of steps they listed that you would go through, I went through those exactly. So it wasn't, I was quite sure that the pills I ordered were the pills I needed.
You mentioned that you spoke to those around you about what you were doing. Did you feel therefore supported through what you were doing, or did you feel that there was more support that you might want? Because obviously today the helpline is being set up for people in your position to contact.
Yeah, I feel that people were supportive in the way that they accepted I'd made a choice, but at the same time they didn't know what I was going through, like, because most people at that stage were still travelling to have abortions. Talking about taking abortion pills wasn't particularly common. And there were kind of like medical things I slightly worried about, like you bleed an awful lot when you take these pills. And there were times where I was like, is that too much blood? At what stage should I go to the hospital? Are these painkillers okay? And I think that's why I'm really glad that this helpline is open, because to be able to phone someone who knows and ask them that question would have made it so much less isolating than it was.
Goretti, you're listening in and you, I know, buy abortion pills for women in the same position as Maggie. Maggie saying that when she took it, it wasn't very common. How common do you think it is now?
Yes, well, she's right. I mean, it's become an awful lot more common over the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years. It's probably the situation is now that there's nearly as many women who are choosing to buy the pills online as there are travelling to England for abortion.
So is it an easy option now?
I think that it's actually an accessible option. I think everybody would prefer to have a legal abortion. But the reality is that, as Mara will tell you, it can cost something between £500 and £600 for somebody to get to access a legal abortion in England, which would be pretty much the exact same abortion as they'd get by getting the pills online. And that costs them maybe about £70. So there's a very big difference. There's also, frankly, and it's really not spoken about a lot, is just the additional kind of life costs of travelling to another part of the UK, because of course here in Northern Ireland, whether we like it or not, we're actually part of the UK, travelling to another part of the UK to obtain a medical procedure that is available everywhere else. But actually it means leaving your home. For example, I live here in Derry in the northwest. I would have to travel an hour and a half to the airport in Belfast, then get a plane from there. It actually means leaving your children, maybe other caring responsibilities, and your work, of course. It means having to take a lot of time off.
The law in Northern Ireland obviously is clear on abortions. Does the availability of these pills online now and the easy access to them and the fact that there is now a telephone helpline supporting people, does that effectively demolish the laws by the back door?
Yes, it does, yeah. Effectively, the law here is now being shown because of the kind of technology that's available now, the technology of the pills, but also the internet allowing access to those pills. It means that, in effect, the law is being broken on a daily basis, which really means that it should be reformed, because any law that's been broken on a daily basis, clearly, it's not working.
But there was a proposal to legalise abortion, specifically in cases of fatal fetal abnormality, in the Northern Ireland Assembly back in February. That was actually defeated. So this is a law that has been looked at recently.
Yes, but you have to remember that our Assembly, our politicians here in Northern Ireland, are really not elected on social kind of issues overwhelmingly.
But they are democratically elected. They do represent the will of the people.
Well, they represent the will of the people in relation to sectarian issues, the kind of unionist nationalist issues. The question about whether they represent them in relation to abortion,
is it not on the platform when they're standing?
Well, it's not really a main issue when they're standing, no. Not at all. I mean, abortion wasn't an issue. It was an issue in the recent Assembly elections, but it was an issue where actually people were saying that they wanted change, not an issue where people were, it wasn't an anti-abortion kind of push in the recent elections. It was very much a pro-choice push, but the politicians then pretty much ignore that.
Mara Clark, you're from the Abortion Support Network. What's your perspective on this?
Well, I think the helpline is a fantastic thing, because we know hundreds of women a year are accessing these pills online, which is fantastic. And we provide financial support to the people who want to travel over. As Goretti said, it can cost between £400 and £2,000 to travel over, depending on the stage of pregnancy. And the pills, there's two things we want to make clear. First of all, these pills are very, very safe. The World Health Organization has these pills on their essential medicines list, even outside of clinical setting. So these pills are very, very safe. And I also want to say that it's not just young women taking these pills. We've had calls to our helpline from people ranging in age from 13 to 52. So everybody gets pregnant, and these pills are an option for anyone who gets pregnant.
But anybody, obviously, who is getting them, who is breaking the law.
Absolutely
and,
breaking
and
the law.
There was a case earlier this year where a woman from Belfast was given a suspended sentence for doing it.
Yes, well, there's a lot to take into consideration. So making against the law doesn't stop it. It's not against the law to travel, but it's against the law if you're poor. So women with the 400 to 2,000 pound that it costs to travel over can travel over, and women who do not have that money, the stories that we have heard on our helpline of what women have done before they found out about our number, that we could help them financially, before they found out about these pills, were drinking bleach, were ingesting over-the-counter medication. We had a non-drug user go out and score heroin because she thought that it might trigger a miscarriage. So let's not pretend that making abortion illegal somehow makes this utopia where abortion doesn't happen. So the fact that women have the option of getting pills that the World Health Organization says are safe, and that BPOS, the legends at BPOS, are stepping up and saying, if you take these pills, even though they're safe, if you're alone, if you're scared, you bleed a lot, but how much blood is too much? Now there's a nurse you can call 24 hours a day and find out the answer to that question. But we still all think the law has to change, because these pills are only good up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. Some women don't know they're pregnant until after that. We were called not too long ago by a woman, she'd been raped 23 weeks before she found out she was pregnant. So the law here is 24 weeks. She had literally minutes to make arrangements to come over here to get a procedure that cost £1,350 plus flights.
Maggie, just quick final thought from you. If the pill hadn't been available when you took it, what would you have done?
I think if this is going to sound very dramatic, but if the pill hadn't have been available, I'd be dead, because I didn't want a child. I had no resources to raise a child, and I wouldn't have known what else to do.
Thank you very much for joining us. That's Maggie, who's been talking to us anonymously, Goretti Horgan and also Mara Clark. Thank you. We did invite someone from Northern Ireland's Department of Health and Department of Justice onto the programme to talk about the country's abortion laws, but neither accepted. The Department of Health did send us this statement. The Department of Health is aware of the helpline and would remind members of the public that taking medicines obtained through unregulated sources can put their health at serious risk. Prescription-only medicines should only be taken when prescribed by an appropriate practitioner and should be obtained from a registered pharmacy or other regulated source.
I've been getting away with it all